because actually pedestrians they act differently in the US than they do in Japan. I think that really people in Japan they don't take any responsibility for their own safety. They basically trust that everybody will stop or look out for them because they are a pedestrian and they want to go that way, so they just go that way.
Because the Japanese rely on our security to the neighbors' countries,
Right.
as written in the constitution.
So, but okay, so basically AI is not that far, but I think they are maybe like especially. I'm very impressed that they can already let cars on the street in the United States, and they apparently drive very safe and responsible. So that they must actually have progressed pretty far, otherwise they wouldn't allow it.
It may possible, yes, I think. But my point is not like that there. My point is you are the guy, I think, you may be the guy who trusts the bright future of the society, which will be improved by the technologies, including AI. And in these several decades, may be different from in past. I think this is your position.
Well, my position is, regardless whether it will be to our benefit or not, I think when we are looking at the future, we have and we look at the past, we see that there was a big emphasis on ethics in education prior to the Meiji era, and also in the same era in Europe we had education that was not primarily aimed at generating workers for the factories. So again, that basically started to come into existence with the industrialization. So then education started to change in Japan. Education started to change because we needed those workers, but when we're now looking at our future, in the future we will need less and less workers, less and less people who can do a task very well, because if somebody can do a task very well, which is repetitive, like accounting or whatever, it will be that will not be employment of the future. So what I'm saying is that actually, regardless whether AI will be good or bad for our society, I think that when we look at the future of education, we need to go back to where we were and actually educate people to become good people, to focus on ethical education.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yes. So, or in other words, people should be more essential to the many type of the issues which we have right now. Not to try all the problems, solve the problem sufficiently, but we have to more focus on the true cause or something, such kind of attitude. And to do that, we have to once again go back to the in past to chase or to think about what would be the essential things or tools or those kind of higher level of the thinking of the people, isn't it?
Yeah, AI technology is currently, just I told you, American fairly number of elementary school started to teach Python. It means their parents consider for 10 years later what's going on. But this at that time is actually SAP or kind of software is traditional software we're going to change, adding on like kind of molar. Okay, so molar, and because this business process is just they're going to reach within 10 years, and extreme operational efficiency we're going to reach. Then after that, what they're going to do is, okay, you're going to decide, take action is by righteousness or by benevolence, based on kind of moral decision making we're going to be required, or we're going to be give them teach you had better do that, you had better do the other way, don't do that. Kind of sort of things we're going to proceeding on the AI area. Otherwise, what's going to do 10 years later, right? For banking operation or just the automotive driving technique. But 10 years later, we can't do anything more than that. Then, further than that, what you're going to do? What's going to do is, okay, you should do that. You had better do it like that, so on and so on. Not this at the standpoint of business operation process, but this is a standpoint of his judgment for the righteousness.
But do you think that, well, okay, let me answer this for European people. European people will not listen to a computer who tells me don't do that because it's not the right thing to do. I'll be the judge of that.
No. He's just on the screen, just not order, just suggestion.
Yeah, but I would switch it off. Urusai.
Suggestion. Yeah, we'll do that.
There is the famous the researcher in the AI field in Japan, Arai Noriko, Professor Arai Noriko. She wrote the interesting book named the AI versus the children who cannot read and then understand the textbook. And she tried to create the powerful new AI, and she selected for the exam, target exam, the program for those AI to solve the entrance exam of the university in Japan. And she named it Torobo-kun. That means the abbreviation of Todai Robot. So that the final target is to solve the entrance exam of the Tokyo University.
Right.
So at this moment, she tried and she let the AI studied every sort of entrance exam, not only the Todai but also all other university. Now the achieved result is about 70% of the university Torobo-kun can pass the exam. That means that 70% of the new university student can be replaced with the Torobo-kun. But
assuming that we don't learn anything in university anymore.
Right. But she said that 20% of the entrance exam of the Todai cannot be solved yet, because that problem requires a variety of the knowledges. It is not possible to let the AI learn easily. Yeah, yes. So, but what would be such a problem?
I
cannot give you the practical example, but if you buy the book and read it, there is
is there a specific kind of problem that AI is not good in?
Japanese language sentences. You can read these sentences. What kind of, if you are the main caster, what kind of reaction?
It is not the issue of the nature of the languages as the Japanese. The issue comes from the nature of the issues, not the languages issues. I cannot give you the practical example, but the result of was like that. But this result tells us, more, not a bright future, but somehow the very terrible future. Because most of the case, not only the Japan, but I think same with the other the European countries. The always education, the industry require the educations. The necessary, the people who can work for the industries or business field. And always, year by year, the tendency or trend of the education gradually changes along with the change of the requirement for the industries.
Yeah. So
that means the 70% of the people who could get into the university will be also really matches to the requirement from the industries. So eventually, those 70% of the people can also enter the maybe the companies, but those 70% people can be replaced with AI.
Yeah.
That is the impact of the current AI.